What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today in this video we're going to talk about 9 mega cap stocks in this video. But before we get started, please hit that thumbs up button. That is greatly appreciated and that really helps out with YouTube algorithm. And if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, 3 days of live trading in my Discord, definitely check out the Patreon. I'll leave a link down below in the description. And if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. And now let's get right into it, guys. On Apple stock is down again 1.73% with no bounce inside. Apple stock dropping again for the second day in a row since last Friday, with the earnings coming out on Thursday night last week. Now, two interesting things happening on Apple stock. The first one, I talked about it in my last video. That is Apple stock trading below lower Bollinger Band, and it's not gonna stay down here for too long. And again, for the second day, Apple stock trading below lower Bollinger Band, which is sitting close to 183. So I think we're going to see a retracement. It's just a matter of time if it's going to happen tomorrow, this week, but it's going to happen, guys. Second thing, if you look at it, last time when Apple stock was here around this level, 177 to 178, Apple stock actually from this gap 175.77, we saw a massive gap up, and then Apple ran all the way up to 185, and then we saw that pullback, and guess what happened? Apple stock not fully closing this gap, and then went back up on a strong bull run all the way up to 198.23. And now today, if you look at my screen, exactly down here to this level, around 177, and that is where Apple stock was actually holding all day up until end of the day. We saw kind of a bounce on Apple stock up to almost 179. Now, if you look at it, yes, this is how Apple stock can work. And also, if you look at it, today we saw a sell-off, but with less volume on it today. So sell-off wasn't that strong today, and I think it's just nailing a bottom in the short term. Yes, there will be more downside after a bounce, but in the short term, this thing, even on the daily chart, RSI going under 30 after a long time. And last time we saw that, this thing bounced, and then what happened, guys? We saw a massive rally. Now, without Apple stock, yes, market went higher today, but you saw it. It was actually getting stuck, struggling all the time to move higher, but finally we saw market actually leaving Apple stock behind and moving higher. Especially we got moves from Netflix, we got big move from Google stock and Amazon also, and Meta, and that is why we saw that is kind of helping. But Apple and Tesla taking a beating, and imagine Apple coming back and getting that dead cat bounce at some point. It's going to happen soon or later, and I think it's going to happen this week, and possibly before that CPI or after that CPI, we're going to see Apple going back up, at least up to 183, and who knows, maybe even 187. So tomorrow you do want to watch this level carefully, guys. 177 on Apple stock. Just below that, Apple is going to close this gap at 175.77, and also weekly expected move here on Apple stock at the lower end, 176. So watch out for that tomorrow. Already today coming down to the lower end of that weekly expected move. So Apple stock tomorrow, if we get a bounce, Apple stock needs to break 180, and if that happens, we're going to see a full retracement to this lower Bollinger Band close to 183, and that is also a resistance to break, and above that we're going to see more upside, possibly up to 185 and then 187. But you do want to watch this support 177 and then the gap below close to 176 on Apple. I still believe on all the time frames except weekly, Apple stock is oversold at this moment. Yes, things can stay oversold, but I think Apple is a big stock. For it to stay down this long, at least we're going to see a bounce in the short term. On Microsoft, it's up 0.71% and finally getting that close above Blue Line 5 SMA 329.68 and barely holding that level into closing as a support. So kind of, getting out of this downtrend, but not quite there yet, but above 329 right here, 329.68 to be exact, we could see a move up to 337 to 339 on Microsoft. And below 329.68, this one can drop down to lower Bollinger Band 321.14, and then the gap below 316.50. So it's not quite out of the woods yet until we get up to at least, I would say, 337 to 339, and that holds as a support. Then you got that confirmation that Microsoft actually breaking out of this downtrend and moving higher, and we could possibly see Microsoft going all the way up to 345.07 to close that gap on top before coming down and closing this gap here on bottom at 316.50. On Google stock, it's up 2.65%, and looks like we're getting another breakout here on Google, and this one also getting that close almost over 132. And if that happens tomorrow, we're going to see Google getting up to 134, 135.68, and then possibly up to even 140s. Now to the downside, we do have strong support at 130, and if you look at my screen again today, blue line 5 SMA was holding as a support. Low for the day 129.43, slightly cutting under blue line 5 SMA, and then coming right back up and also trying to break this resistance at 132, and that is this trend line top of this flag. And soon as that happens, 132 breaks, we're going to see next leg higher on Google. So 130 will be a key level, and below that, watch out for the support down here, 127.69, 126 white line 20 SMA, and then the gap below 123.69. On Amazon stock, it's up 1.90%, and just like we talked about it in my last video, that Amazon can come down here to 138, and if that holds as a support, we're going to see Amazon bouncing from this level, and this is exactly what we got. Low for the day 138.95, and then we got a strong bounce off of this level, and now trading above 142. So Amazon holding above 138, even with this overbought condition, Amazon can run all the way up to 146. Below 138, we do have support around 135, 134, blue line 5 SMA, and then white line 20 SMA down here at 132. On Meta, it's up close to 2%, and I missed this trade on Meta today by $1, guys. It didn't get down to 309, 308 where I wanted, so I didn't get in here on Meta at 310. But if you look at it, it was just only $1, and that is why there is nothing called perfect entry and perfect exit on a trade. You cannot get exactly where you want to get in. You cannot get out exactly where you want to get out. You gotta get in somewhere closer to the support, and you gotta get out somewhere closer to the resistance on any stocks in the market, even the market itself. Now Meta, if you look at my screen, we got that bounce off of this white line 20 SMA, which is sitting just above 309, and now it's trading above 316. So that is a breakout on Meta. And also if you look at my screen, it's trading above 315.50, so 316 is holding, and also we got blue line 5 SMA holding at 315.50. so above 316, we could see Meta going back up again all the way up to 326 plus, possibly even touching 328.31 upper Bollinger Band on this daily chart. Now if this is a dead cat bounce and Meta comes right back down, then watch out for the support 309, and if that gives up, then the gap below 302 down here. On AMD stock, it's up 0.85%, and this is why I just don't like this stock anymore. I mean, look at this, guys. Back to back 3 days, we saw a big run on AMD, and today, just like I said in my last video, that watch out, this thing could be going up to 118 to touch and retest this resistance again and again, falling at that level, going above that level, and then coming down and closing at 116.81. But at least now AMD stock trading above all the moving averages here on this daily chart. It needs to break 118, and if that happens, the next stop 121.75, and then possibly going back up to 130s. Below right here, red line 50 SMA 116.22, we do have support down here 113.83, white line 20 SMA, and then watch out for a flush all the way back down to 108. So AMD, like I said before, it's trading in this range between 118 and down here 108 to 109. Until we get that breakout above 118, you're not going to see more upside. And also, until this thing breaks below 108, you're not going to see too much downside on AMD. So despite the sell-off in the market and all the bears and crash people are screaming that market is going to crash and you're going to get wiped out, a super crash is coming, Nvidia stock continues to impress everyone in the market. And this is why day trading, you can make a ton of money on Nvidia if you can catch it. Now, last week I did really well on Nvidia trading and buying this dip around 440 and selling out for a nice profit. Now today I'm not in Nvidia, and if you look at it, guys, again money was there, but support level, it didn't quite get down to 440s anymore. 445.63 low for the day, but look at this insane move, $10 up from this 445 low for the day up to almost 455, and also closing close to 455. So that is a $10 move, and if you caught that move today on Nvidia, you made a ton of money. And also, early as tomorrow, Nvidia can get above right here, I would say 455. That is where white line 20 SMA is sitting, and Nvidia is struggling to break that white line 20 SMA, 454.56. So I would say 455. And soon as that breaks, we're going to see 460 closing that gap on top, and Nvidia can do that early as tomorrow. Now when it drop, you do want to watch this support and also this trend line right here, and that is around 440, because if that gives up, we do have a gap down here, 427.58, and also we do have support around this gap, 429.70. We have red line, rising red line 50 SMA, and also lower Bollinger Band on this daily chart. So until the earnings, guys, I don't see Nvidia dropping significantly. I don't think it's going down to even 400 until the earnings come out, and that is very soon on the 23rd. On Netflix, it's up 2%, and this is the only trade that I took. Was a really good trade today. Everything else was kind of choppy and really hard to make money today because everything was going sideways. In some cases, some stocks were down huge, so you can't really do anything, especially with CPI coming out soon and the PPI, and that is holding the market. Some stocks are not moving sideways. Some stocks are taking a beating, so you don't want to buy puts on a stock that is taking a beating. And if you're buying the dip, it just continues to move lower. So it was really a hard day today to make money in the market. But despite all that happening in the market, this was a good trade. Buying that dip at 430, 450 calls, and if you look at my screen, this thing went up over $10. Now I'm not holding. I sold out for a nice profit because I don't want to hold any position that is green right now in the market into that CPI, and that is why I sold my calls on Netflix, even my runners at the end. But if you look at it, some good news on Netflix. It's trading above 438.61, finally breaking above white line 20 SMA. So that needs to hold tomorrow morning. If not, it's going back down to 427 again, and that's going to be a key level to watch on Netflix because we have red line 50 SMA rising and now sitting at 427. Now above white line 20 SMA, 438.61. Yes, there is a possibility on Netflix this thing can move higher all the way up to 450, and we do have a massive gap on top at 470. On Tesla, stock is down 0.95%. Now I started my day here buying Tesla right at opening, almost close to or just under, I think, 250, getting some calls, only 2 calls to be exact, and that was a small position that I called out because I knew below 250 this thing will come down and touch this lower Bollinger Band, and then we're going to get that bounce. Now I talked about it exactly how this can happen on Tesla in my last video. Below 250, 252, we could see that move on Tesla coming down and touching lower Bollinger Band right here on this daily chart and possibly getting that bounce. So I only had 2 calls as it started on Tesla today, and then loaded up my boat here on Tesla today. So that was a really nice trade. You can see almost $8-10 bounce from bottom, and then I took profit on Tesla and holding some runners into closing, because I think with good CPI we could see a move at least up to 262 on Tesla. Also, Tesla getting extremely oversold, touching lower Bollinger Band on this daily chart. So tomorrow, guys, Tesla can break right here, red line 50 SMA, and that is right around 254. If that breaks, we're going to see a quick trip back up to 262 on Tesla. And so far, Tesla is selling off for last few weeks right here. Since Tesla got up to 300, it's been selling off. So this is actually a good opportunity on Tesla to buy the dip, swing trade, day trade, and especially if you're getting the dip down here at this lower Bollinger Band on this daily chart, definitely a dip buying opportunity for a day trade on Tesla. And if you got anything here on Tesla close to 242, 243, even at 246, that was a good move. Almost even buying at 246. That was a good move here on Tesla from 246 up to 252. That is a $6 move on Tesla. So if you caught it today, kudos to you. You made money on Tesla. So tomorrow you want to watch Tesla to break 254, and if that happens, we're going to see 262 on Tesla and possibly up to even 268.35. White line 20 SMA. Below 254, watch out for the strong support 243, and then the gap below 235. So far, Tesla looking oversold, but it's not out of the woods until Tesla breaks the bob. White line 20 SMA 268.35. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching.